Oh yeah, so I'm just going to give you a little post-fight for Zhilei Zhang versus Andriy Rudenko. Now, Andriy Rudenko, as we know, is a good, solid gatekeeper. He's fought the likes of Povetkin, Caballel, I'm trying to think of other people. I think Lucas Brown and Huey Fury as well a few years back. So he's fought the who's who of the heavyweight division. When he stepped up, he's lost, but as I say, he always sort of gives a good account of himself. Now, in this fight against Zhang, as we know, is a decorated amateur, two-time Olympian, one-time silver medalist. And I have to be honest with you, I was not overly impressed by Zhilei Zhang in this fight. Now, I haven't seen Zhilei Zhang fight in the professional ranks at all, actually, yet, in complete honesty. I have not seen him once at all. Now, I was aware of him, but he was just one of those fighters that there's not much footage of, to be honest. So, I didn't really know what to expect. I'll be honest, I had a sort of a level in my head of where I thought he'd probably be sort of operating at, and he was operating around that. I would say if you had to put him, obviously he's Chinese, but if you had to sort of rate him in a way that we can understand, I would say he's between British level and European. I think the likes of Wallen and sort of around that European level would probably beat him. But then if you took him, put him in with the likes of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good sort of solid British level, I don't know, like a Sam Sexton of a couple of years ago, I think he would have beaten him. Now, I'll be honest, Zhilei Zhang, although he's not very impressive, he's quite slow, he's quite lumbering, he's not got the best punch variety, I'll tell you the best way of describing Zhilei Zhang, if you've never seen him, is imagine a bit better version of Dave Allen, like a better Dave Allen, and which is almost strange because Dave Allen fights the way he fights because he's not got any amateur experience, and obviously Zhang is a seasoned amateur. But I mean, Zhilei Zhang, as I say, although he's a seasoned amateur, he turned pro quite late. He's not been really fighting anybody. He's been somewhat inactive as well. But as I say, Zhang is just not. I don't know, man. I'm not overly impressed with Zhang. As I say, I think there is an upside to it. I think he can be involved in some fun fights. I really do. I think he can be involved in some really fun fights. The Dave Allen fight, I don't like the idea of Dave Allen fighting again, but the Dave Allen fight I think would be a good fight. As I say, they bring similar styles to the table, except one's a southpaw and one's a orthodox fighter. So I think you could get a fun fight with that sort of thing. I mean, the thing is, there are people in the Matchroom roster that I'd like to see. I mean, the Kuzmin fight, I think he would have lost, and probably lost quite handily, and probably been stopped. But the likes of, David Price even, I think that's a fun fight. I really do. And I think the David Price fight's probably a bit more realistic, because David Price, as we know, is actually fighting at the moment, and is, although he's coming off a knockout loss, he is still technically active, whereas, as we know, Dave Allen, again, has gone off the rails, as we've become sort of accustomed to with Dave. That being said as well, is that Dave Allen as well is someone that commands at this point, whether you think he deserves it or not, it's something that he commands is a lot of money. As we know, he priced himself right out of the Daniel Dubois fight, despite there being rumours of it being, around a couple of $100,000. Would they pay Dave Allen $250,000 if that's what he wanted to fight Zhilei Zhang? I'm not sure they would. So I think the David Price fight's possibly more realistic, but then where's David Price at this point in his career? Obviously coming off a pretty nasty knockout where he was sort of saved from it ending very badly. It looked bad for him. He was up shit creek once again. But as I say, this is more about Zhilei Zhang than anything else. But Zhilei Zhang is he's a good he looks good. Fundamentally good. But look, I don't think he's particularly flashy. He's just got solid enough fundamentals. He appears to have quite a good chin. That's one thing I have to say. I did notice that he seems to take shots a bit too much for my liking, but his chin seems good enough. So, he's an interesting addition. As I say, I don't think he's going to be fighting at a particularly high level, but as someone you can stick on the undercard for a fun fight, I think he's, he might be good value for money with that. So, in terms of the fight, Zhilei Zhang, he won most of the rounds, just by outworking more than anything Rudenko. Rudenko did go for it, and I think it was the third or the fourth, and he sort of gave it a bit of a go. But the thing that stood out to me is that when Rudenko really gave it a go, he was having a decent amount of success. Now, if Andriy Rudenko is giving you issues, I'm saying, I know it was a UD, but if he's giving you problems in any capacity, that to me shows that there's a glass ceiling. Again, I mean, we're talking about an old man here in Zhang. I mean, what is he, nearly 37? He's 36, 37 he's got to be, and, this is what I mean, is this is a guy that's, we should have seen him in the professional ranks. We should have seen these sort of fights. This should have been 10 years ago. I don't know why we're seeing him now, so as fun as he'll be, I think he's a knockout waiting to happen because, as I say, he does take punches. We'll see. We'll see where he goes. We'll see how far he goes. But in my honest opinion, I'm not sure that Zhilei Zhang is going to be ever competing for titles or anything like that. But anyway, what did you think of the fight? And take care.